I want to give you some backdrop about the model that we use. Our book also, Love, Lost, and Found.
Which I'm going to hold up.
Carrie's going to hold it up for you if you can read it. While you come here at Interventions, we will offer you a copy of that free of charge. We will put that on your pay sheet for $10. Return it to us. We recycle it. If you decide you want to buy it, welcome. We'd love to sell it to you, but that's not really the important thing. But there we teach roughly 8 things we want people to do, right, and 4 things we want people to not do during the course of them being in this program. Right. And so let me give you a little rundown on some of those things real quick, because I think it'll help you understand where we're going. Number one, while you're in the course of this program for the next 26 weeks, the one thing we want you to begin to not do, to stop doing, is to stop scorecarding. And if you will, we call that eliminate scorecarding.
And what is scorecarding?
Scorecarding is the list of things that I bring out to hold against those people around me that they've failed me or betrayed me by. In fact, right, with that, I give a certain amount of guilt to that person for letting me down.
Right.
I like to remind everybody that the brain can't tell the difference between a memory of a past negative event and going on right now. So when I bring up a scorecard item internal to myself, I'm also reliving that anger. I project it into that current topic discussion, and it just is one way of destroying any hope for problem solving.
Right.
Okay?
So that scorecard is the list of things that have happened between you and I in the past that I hold against you and have anger about.
That's correct. The second thing we ask you to do is stop caretaking and start caregiving. Another word for caretaking is called codependence.
Yes.
We probably about 30% of our clients are involved in relationships that are so dysfunctional. The person married who they thought they would be, not who they are. They look at the person for their potential, for their growth, the possibilities of how you might turn into such a better person. And yet in itself, that is filled with a lot of obstacles, because now I didn't marry for who you are, or I'm not living with you for who you are. I'm living for you with who I can make you be. So when I caretake, I get overly involved in the lives of others. I take responsibility for their problems, and then I try to control them, control their growth, control their learning process, and through guilt and shame and attacking their self-worth and self-esteem, I'm always attempting to make this person into someone else.
Right. And that's
taking.
Right.
Caregiving, very healthy. I walk the walk with you, but I don't take responsibility for your problems.
Right.
You know, and caregiving is very healthy. I don't lend money to people that have lost the money due to irresponsible ways. I don't bail people out of problems. I listen, I talk, I suggest, but I don't give advice, and I don't get so involved that I become a part of the problem instead of a part of the solution.
Correct.
Number 3, stop squirrel caging. The idea that I ruminate, process. And in that time that I'm doing that, I'm so caught up in those mental self-tapes that I'm disassociated from time, place, and circumstance. We see in our clinical practice, men come in the front door, especially the first couple of weeks, and they have spent 20 minutes driving, but while they were driving, they were thinking about how unfair this is, and this is all wrong, and I shouldn't be here. And there they are spinning, and they walk in the door, and they truly, they are so disconnected from where they were and what they were doing, they don't even remember the 20-minute drive here.
Right.
Because they were spinning, squirrel caging. Okay? Number 4, distortions will destroy. When we talk about cognitive distortions, these are the things the tapes that we play to ourselves, all or nothingism, when nobody could do any better than that. Everybody's like that. The idea that we have these notions that we can distort reality, and as we reflect this idea of what a distorted reality is, we begin to believe it, and we begin to believe it in such ways that we destroy our own serenity, our own peace of mind.
Right.
So there's a lot of distortions out there, but all or nothing thinking, disqualifying the positive, overgeneralizing, catastrophizing, jumping to conclusions.
Right.
Labeling, emotional reasoning, personalizing, but stop distorting. Stay in the present moment. Stay focused to yourself and to the facts of what's going on. Okay?
Yes.
Number 5, maintain solutions focus.
Right. Which means I have to stop focusing on the problem and start focusing on how does this get solved? How do I solve the problem?
There's only 3 types of problems: those you can solve, those you can't solve, and those you can mediate or modify, but they'll never go away. And too often we have people that are giving great deals of energy into problems they can't solve.
Right.
You can't fix somebody against their will. You can't heal someone against their will. You can't solve a problem that's not yours. So if you're talking about your in-laws or you're talking about, past experiences, whether it be in work or other relationships, they're done. They're over. But when you maintain solutions focus, we're talking about how do I invest in the solution of what's going on right now for those two types of problems, those I can affect and those that I can solve. Number 6, listen twice, talk once.
Listen twice?
Listen twice, talk once.
Listen twice. That's right. We're going to listen for the facts, and we're going to listen for the feelings the person's having that's talking about. It's giving us what they're talking about.
We started off by me explaining to you that I do the men's groups, and my extrovert men just can't shut up, and they talk twice and listen never. And so the idea when I begin to shut my talkers down and get them to start listening, or at least ask enough questions to understand what's going on, you'd be surprised. Probably 50% of the arguments that they would have had don't occur.
Right. By virtue that they finally stop talking and spend some time
collecting
hearing
information
and listening what the other person has to say.
Number 8, random acts of kindness. This is one of the things I want you to start doing, and that is the idea that I knowingly and willingly give to you vicariously through fortune, through just a desire to please, that I do things for you randomly. Birthdays and Christmas and New Year's are not random acts of kindness.
No, they're not.
They're predictable, they're scheduled, and they're going to occur.
Right.
But when I do something for you, that's just truly out of the blue, not expected. That gift, no matter how small it is so appreciated that I feel validated. So number 8, do random acts of kindness. Number 9, human doings versus human beings. I work with so many men. They are so caught up in the work world. When they go home, what do they talk about?
Work.
And when they're on vacation, what do they talk about?
Work.
And when it's a weekend and they're off, what do they talk about?
Work.
They're human doings. They go, and they never stop, and they never pause. And as they go, working on their to-do lists and the things they've got left over from the to-do list yesterday, they just burn up so much of their mental energy. Love relationships are about feelings, not facts. Work relationships are about facts, not feelings. So these human doings, they absorb all of the fun and love and affection from a love relationship by bombarding it with the notions that it's all about work and the thing we do. And they make it very sterile and very difficult. Okay. Number 10, create a balanced emotional portfolio. What I'm talking about is the idea that your brain is an electrical device, and it's got positive and it's got negative. White book memories, the sheer joy and delight of all those things that are wonderful that have happened to us, and black book memories, all those things that are awful. Okay.
And so the white book memories positively charge our relationship.
Yes.
They make me feel good about being in the relationship with you.
You've got to work hard to continue to influence everything about you in positive ways. Through positive self-talk. You've got to eliminate as much of the negative as possible because it just drags you down. That sort of relates back to one of those topics we had about solutions focus. It's not the negative things that happen to you. It's what are you doing about it? And even when life is filled with challenges, as long as you're working at them, you're going to find yourself maintaining that positive energy. So the idea of an emotional portfolio is I'm aware of my emotions. When too much negative is going on in my life, I start to thought stop. I start to back that out, and I start to reintroduce a lot of those positive things, keeping in mind that an emotional portfolio is sort of symbolic of a financial portfolio where you have lots of investments of many, many different types and kinds. And when there are some losses, well, you sort of cut your losses short, and you sort of find ways to reinvest in positive ways. And that's what we're talking about when I use that word portfolio.
That's what we're talking about. That's right.
Number 11, a commitment to shared values. Relationships only work if they can find common ground in the values we believe in. Rules are how life regulates you from the outside, but values are how you regulate yourself from the inside. So in relationships, when I work with a partner and find this notion of internal energy, this vision that we both work on, I'm trying to find the common ground that you and I believe in will carry us forward as we move forward to have a family and to have a home and to have vacations and this whole idea of a destiny.
Right.
So the notion that we have this commitment to these values that we've agreed upon is so absolutely important and vital because it has to do with faith.
Right.
You know, faith is the belief that you're heading in the right direction. I look back over the last year, I see evidence that we're prospering, and then I look forward and with positive expectancy have faith that this will continue.
That's right.
And then finally, the last thing in our book, chapter 12, it says, know your relational needs. And if you will, of the relational needs, there's two that I really want you to think about. One is, if you will, your needs that your partner satisfies. Your needs that your partner, and that's a wonderful thing because to that you owe them some positive energy. Okay?
Right. Which is that positive portfolio.
And when we have men that are angry, they're angry because of the two needs, and this is where I'm going to focus on this, and that is your needs that I satisfy that you don't appreciate.
Things I do for you that you don't recognize or give me credit for is one source of anger and discord in a relationship.
Yep. And that does cause problems because, it's internal energy that's negative, okay? So it's the things I do for you that you don't appreciate, and then opposite from that, or the things that I ask you to do for me that you don't, my needs that you don't satisfy.
Right.
Okay, those are the two sources of a person's negative energy. Be aware of them. Embrace them, because understand, we can also say that your partner feels the same way about you.
Right.
Your partner might say to you, again, I do men's groups, so your wife, your girlfriend might say, look at the things I do for you that you don't appreciate. And look at the things that I've asked you to do for me that you won't do for me. And those are the two sources of that person's negative energy.
Right.
Please remember, I love to throw this in there, but long before the legal divorce occurred, the emotional divorce happened. Now, let me rephrase that. Long before your partner left you, she
Physically.
decided to leave you. See? And that's where this hits hard, because when we look at these relational issues, these ideas of the 12 things I'm asking you to do, or to abide by while you're in our program,